Something slightly different today. This is a quick video. This is a campaign being organised by the Urban Worm UK, a community interest company trying to promote composting, sustainability, and providing subsidised for the National Lottery 1,000 worm farmers. So the idea of this is to encourage people through YouTube videos on their website to build their own worm farm. The idea is that it's built using DIY reclaimed materials and things like that, so you're not actually going out and buying a wormery. The only issue with this, I noticed that the grant was for £53,000, and it's 1,000 worm farmers, and each one of those receives sort of 100 grams of worms. So it's basically averages out to £53 per 100 grams of worms, when it's much cheaper just to go to Wiggly Wigglets or Yorkshire Worms and just buy your worms there and get them in the post. And I would have thought with the sort of economies of scale, when you're going up to 1,000 of these things, the costs would come down cheaper, and also you'd have an agreement with the worm supplier for them to mail them out directly, so you're not having to do all the necessary sort of infrastructure in between, and then you might actually send all your paperwork to them and they package them off. So I'm not sure how that's done, but it just seems quite an expensive way of getting these worms into people's wormeries. Obviously, with sort of lockdown restrictions and things, this is all virtual as well, so there's just sort of YouTube videos rather than face-to-face workshops and community events and things like that. So I don't want to diss this too much, but I just think it's expensive. When you can buy a wormery complete with the worms for about the same price, it does seem quite expensive. Just bear with me, I'll put the phone down while I cut the zip tie. I haven't opened this, so I just want to see what's inside. Okay, so this is just open the seal. I don't really know what's in here, it's just pure worms, or if there's some bedding or anything as well. So it looks like there's a little bit of leaf mould in there, and there's a few worms, so they're alive, which is good. And I'll just sift it through. Yeah, so there's a reasonable lot of worms in here. So we've got, I'm going to do a head count now. There's 70 there, so I'd say about 140 worms maybe, and then very minimal bedding, so I wouldn't really think there's many cocoons in there at all, but there will be some. So the worms seem to be quite content, and they'll just go into my wormery now. I don't know, just so, yeah, it's pretty much 100 grams of worms, and they're a reasonable size, I suppose. So yeah, 53 pounds of worms delivered. It just seems expensive to me. We'll let you make up your own decisions. There you go. So a very short video and lots of little healthy worms, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer these into another one of my wormeries. I'm setting up a wormery at work as a sort of community garden. That is obviously a work in progress. We've got to get the infrastructure set up for pre-composting food waste and things like that. But what made me laugh as well is these were described as tiger worms on their description. I don't know if they've been misquoted because of their red skin. Just like a tiger has red skin, as opposed to their stripes like a tiger. But also what I thought was a bit annoying is that the Urban Worm UK kind of still promotes the myth of this magical worm tea that comes out the bottom of wormeries as some sort of magic plant feed, when really it's just leachate. So depending on what's actually gone into the wormer itself, you're going to have all sorts of kind of rather anaerobic liquid coming out the base of that, and it's not necessarily a magical high nitrogen plant food at all, really. What I try and do is with leachate is trying to manage that leachate by limiting the amount of sort of wet food waste items you're putting in. Make sure there's a sufficient dry carbons in there, so you've got a good balance, so you don't have to manage excess moisture. And the other thing as well is to have a nice sort of, rather than a sump that contains that and allows it to go sort of anaerobic and build up over time, have a way of moisture to